Hey everyone, before we start, this is Doug from the Pitch Stack podcast. Last night after we recorded this episode, LSS dropped a crazy B&R announcement on us with very little warning or preparation. And so just to let everybody know, we don't get to that in this episode, but Matt and I are going to record a special episode in the next 2 days and put it up. We're going to go over this B&R announcement, what it means for the metagame, what it means to have our first living legend hero, and all sorts of turmoil that has been thrown at us by LSS. So I'm looking forward to it. Hope you are too, and hope you enjoy episode 6. All right, welcome to the Pitch Stack, episode 6. This is an exciting episode. We've got calling results. We have spoilers for Uprising. We have all sorts of market-moving news. The skirmish recap, skirmish season's over. We can now take a look at the new Living Legend leaderboards for young heroes. This has been a great week for Flesh and Blood. Matt, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Doing good. These spoilers are really, really cool, and it's got me thinking. It's got the brain juices going.
Yeah, right? I love that the card pool is still so small. It's like, I feel like it's so hard to speculate in other TCGs that have like massive card pools, but with Flesh and Blood, it's still so small. You can kind of just sit there and be like, oh, I already mentally built this deck, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Definitely feels that way looking at these cards.
Yeah, and as we record this about 2 hours ago, they just spoiled a new, I guess we'll call it a talent. Seems to me to be a talent over a class, right? Because it's an adjective.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be exciting when we talk about it.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I guess you know what? We have so much to talk about. Let's just, we'll get the intro out of the way and go for it.
Let's go.
You're listening to the Pitch Stack podcast.
Okay, and we're back from the intro, and I guess first things first, we might as well open the mail. Let's say we got a question from our friend Angel, and Angel asks, what are y'all's expectations with Iyslander hitting the meta? Matt, I'll let you answer this one first.
Well, Iyslander was already printed as a young hero, as we all know from Everfest, and, well, she's back in Uprising. And she's back as a young and adult hero, of course, for draft. But she also has new art. That's pretty cool. I mean, I do like her original art quite a bit, but her new art's not too bad either.
Yeah.
Did you agree?
Yeah, the young hero art's actually really interesting because when I first saw the art, I assumed it would be like a new ninja class. And then on the actual card, there's like ice going on. You see the slow... the slow hair color shift, and I don't know. Alexander Makov did a real good job with this one. It's pretty cool.
Well, the art actually is, I don't know if it's necessarily depicting a moment in the story, but the story is interesting as well that they posted alongside the spoilers. So, have you read the story yet?
I did, and I have no recollection of it, which seems terrible.
Let me help you. The brief summary is that I think Iyslander is sensing some sort of shift or disturbance in Aria, and she's going to find out where it's coming from, some sort of danger, some epic event, I think. And as far as I understood it, she's traveling almost aimlessly, but towards some sort of center of power. But she's traveling outside of Aria. And she travels through Aria and then through Solana, where she defeats a demonastery beast while she watches Bolton fight the creatures, from the demonastery while they're having their siege. Then she continues into Volcor, where she finds some people slaving away at this mine, and other soldiers or mercenaries whipping them. And then she decides to help them out and kill these mercenaries, and then they run away. And when she finally makes it into, I guess, some sort of city or outskirts of one, she gets pulled aside by none other than Shiana, actually. And she's finally brought up into the story for the first time, I believe. And Shiana assists her by giving her a mask, which I think is the mask that she uses to copy other heroes or clone herself as something else, to disguise herself. So that's what Iyslander is in the young hero art. She took some Volkari clothes and put them on. That's why she looks like Kano a little bit. And then she's wearing a mask. Like, that's what makes her look different. While she has black hair, she looks like a regular citizen of Volkor.
Okay, that explains why the bear in the background's so confused.
Yeah, they're like, what? She's changing? She shifted? I don't know. But it's cool, though. It's very cool call out to the story. But it's going to be very exciting because they keep hinting at this very tall, strong dude with long black hair, the general of some sort. And I think I have an idea of who it could be. I really hope I'm right.
Yeah. I hope it's the guy from Command and Conquer.
Well, I hope it's the guy. Oh, I didn't even consider that, but I hope it's Daru Ashengard.
Oh, that he's what card is he on? I know exactly who you're talking about. He's the dude with the axes, right?
Yeah, the big axe. He's got one real big axe.
Because, we got to chop down huge trees. So what's interesting, right, that you say that is if you look at the art on Spill Blood and you look at the upcoming story posts, the dudes are wearing the same armor as the Spill Blood card. Where
he's
they
a member
have the there's definitely some ridiculous word for it, but when you have like the you know what I mean, the brush on your helmet or whatever.
Yeah, the head hair, the helmet hair. Yeah, I don't know what it's called. It's something.
Hair thing. What is it called? We're going to solve this for all of our listeners live on the air.
Nice.
I don't think it's technically a plume.
That sounds right.
It's called a gallia.
A gallia.
I don't know if that's specifically sideways ones, but it is that's interesting. So it's I know like Fab kind of likes to dive into weird history references. So specifically any like Etruscan warrior would use these type of helmets, which is like anywhere from the greater Italian peninsula. So like you're getting like Greeks, Spartans, Romans, like anything from that era.
That's so funny. Another podcast I listened to, one of the members has, it's a part of a character that he kind of does as himself, but he has like an obsession with the Etruscans. And he always begs the other members to let him do an episode on them. And when they finally let him do an episode on the Etruscan like people, the civilization, they totally turn it into like some sort of like crazy time travel sitcom where like they don't even talk about the subject, and they like him discussing the subject caused this whole chaos to happen. It was amazing.
He had this like beautiful presentation planned on like global Etruscan dominance and the prevalence of warm water ports in warfare, and just like it just turned into a meme. That's
totally
great.
Totally derailed meme. It was great. But these cards are awesome. I'm actually very concerned as a Viserai player that I'm going to have some trouble in the coming meta, whether they ban things or they don't.
So this is weird, right? So, okay, what's the least fun deck? All right, we'll get the Magic the Gathering out of the way. What's the least fun deck to play against in Magic the Gathering?
Stax's /land destruction.
Stax, absolutely Stax. I mean, occasionally hand destruction too, yeah, but Stax. And it looks like they are printing a Stax hero.
Yeah, this is very heavy into stacks and heavy into just random damage coming at you.
So, I don't know. I hope they don't mess this up.
No, I mean, I really like what they're doing, because the thing is, the game really, as it is now, really encourages aggressive play. Like, there's no really couple ways around it. We have Starvo, who kind of just took Guardian and was like, oh, slow playing? Nah. 2 attacks a turn, big attacks. Let's go. Prism? Oh, we're controlling? No. Aggressive and also defensive. Viserai? Who blocks? We don't block. I don't know what blocking is. We're attacking. And then not to mention we just got out of the Briar meta from Aria before Everfest, and that was an extremely aggressive meta as well.
Yeah, and then the chain meta before that.
Exactly. So I think this is a really nice change of pace. Whether I'm going to be playing this into Icelanders or not, it's still going to be really exciting to see these new cards at the table. Just for the first thing we'll talk about, Channel the Bleak Expanse is a mythic majestic ice action.
We're gonna keep
aura.
saying it till they change it.
I know. I do the same thing in Magic. I call something a majestic, but
I'm just gonna start calling them mega rares because that's really funny to me, and it'll work.
So this says go again as an aura for 1 cost, pitch blue. Of course, pitch blue ice, Icelanders, whole gimmick. Channel ice. So it has the same channel ability as channel what was it? The
Channel Lake Frigid.
Thank you. Yeah. And it says heroes can't reveal cards, search decks, or draw cards from effects. Dear
Stax.
Lord. No.
Just get stacked.
Please stop. My Sonata. My Sonata might become the Arc Knight. No. It's going to be rough.
There's a lot of I feel like it's interesting, right? Because it looks on these spoilers that Iyslander is getting a lot of toolbox cards,
Oh yeah.
And in general, I kind of like to play toolbox. I don't like to play control decks. I like to play toolbox decks.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like Iyslander has something to slow down every single hero. So I'm kind of curious. Clearly, so as we're recording this, they have begun the slow roll of whatever the next hero they're going to unveil is with the by showing us a mega rare draconic attack with a draconic, in my opinion, is definitely a talent. A draconic doesn't seem like at this point, every single hero has been a noun, and draconic is obviously an adjective.
Yeah. No, it's not a class. You cannot be you can't just be, my class is draconic. That's not a class.
You hear that, Blizzard?
Talent.
You hear that, Blizzard?
Is that a thing in Blizzard? Is that
WoW announced a new expansion this week where it's they're like dragon people and they can only be one class.
That's
okay. I don't know. I'm just trying to be funny. I don't play anymore.
No, I'm saying that's odd that they would do that. You can't tech into other classes or take perks.
I think
points.
They did some research. Dragons are back in. Everyone's pushing it. It's like we got Flesh and Blood. Yeah, it's been enough time since Game of Thrones was like the cool dragons on the block. So now they're pushing it again.
Now we literally have the set called Song of Fire and Ice. It looks like. So
yeah, right.
At least from the Thaw art. But yeah, dude, the fact that we're getting new talents already is really exciting. But I think that talent is going to be attached to a hero as well.
Yeah. So, okay. So check this out, right? So they also printed, I think it's definitely going to be attached to a hero. I think you're 100% correct that it is going to be the guy from the Spill Blood art. And it's interesting, right? Because they, I don't remember which card it is, or it might have been a lore article, but they talk about several different Drakais. And so Kano is obviously the Drakai of Aether. And they mention a Drakai of War. So it's possible that Volkor has some sort of they have a couple different leaders that are all in charge of stuff. And I think they're Drakais. And so this is interesting, right? Because it really shows something where the borders of each hero card, I think, have shown us all the talents that will ever be in the game.
I think so.
Because we had Bravo, his border ended up becoming the elemental cards. Viserai's border ended up becoming the shadow cards, even though they printed a shadow Runeblade. But Viserai from the Demonastery. Dorinthia's light, but Dorinthia also from Solana. So I think it is supposed to show their origins. So I think we can say that Kavdane and Azalea are from the same place.
Yeah, certainly. They're definitely from the pit.
Yeah, and so I think it's interesting how they've kind of foreshadowed this stuff on the card borders. And I don't know, it's super exciting. And it's really interesting to see, obviously the two card borders that stand out are, obviously Rudy, because he has the generic card border. Obviously that makes sense. But Shiana's is very interesting because it is the Solana border, but it's crystal and like a platinum, or I don't know. I really want somebody to bring back mithril, like the magical ore.
I remember my mithril swords in RuneScape.
Yeah. So magical ore would be really cool. So I don't know. So Shiana's border is really cool to me. And I will say the other new card spoiled, right?
There's a lot.
Well, so today. Today's new cards. Today, as we're recording this, it is April 24th,
it's 2022. Also a very interesting card as well, based on
so this Cold Snap card.
Not the Magic set?
No, not Cold Snap from Magic. But so target hero may pay 1 resource. If they don't, freeze a card in their arsenal or an ally they control until the start of your next turn.
Necromancer, let's go.
So check this out though, right? There is like a loose ninja, like a feudal Asian theme to like the art for Uprising. There's like a lot of katanas.
Absolutely. It's like Warring Kingdoms. That's the theme, essentially. Like they're very on theme with that.
Yeah, like Warring Kingdoms. So check this out. I think Necromancer has been done to death the way that most people think of it. Have you ever seen a Korean TV show called Kingdom?
No.
It is one of the most popular foreign language shows on Netflix.
Interesting.
It's basically Game of Thrones, but it takes place in feudal China. And there's just a horde of basically former samurai that have become zombies that are just like, not like 28 Days Later, but more of like Night of the Living Dead, like slow shuffling zombies.
Mm-hmm.
So please give me Draconic Necromancer that makes zombie ninjas. I'm in.
That would be interesting. That would be something. I do think we're getting allies, but I want to venture off and say that we will get Kano in some way or form. I think he will either be. They will either they'll give him a new title, the same way they did with Bravo, and they will add Draconic to him, or.
Like the old double wizard set, dueling wizards.
Well, potentially, but that
roller coaster.
Or they will give him 2 talents. I don't think they would do that. It's crazy. It'd be insane. But I can imagine maybe Kano with Draconic and Ice. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he learns a way to meld like the elements, and he learns to cast ice stuff.
Yeah, melding ice and fire.
He's just going to be Todoroki from My Hero. He's going to be Todoroki from My Hero.
Yeah. I mean, this art from Cold Snap, like the card with like just the striking like reds and blues in contrast, I feel is definitely what they're going for with this set, right? Just the fire and ice and the melding of them and the conflict between. But you're right, though. It would be weird for us to like go visit. So I was thinking about this too, right? So we go and we visit Kano's homeland, Kasai's homeland. But so, with Dorinthia, we didn't get a new Dorinthia card in Solana. She was just kind of there for the lore.
Yeah.
And same with like the Demonastery, right? No new Viserai card. So it is possible that they're just like, I think we'll see them depicted in a lot of art, but I don't know if we'll get new cards.
I think that's more closer to what we'll see. It's fun to think about, though. But I do definitely expect Daru to be a Draconic warrior. That's exciting.
I think that will be very sick. And I wonder so that's what's interesting too, is they seem to be exploring a lot of, well, at least with Iyslander, they explore a lot of new design space here. And so for them to retread warrior, it'd be very interesting to see what kind of design space they can make with it.
Right?
Ooh.
I don't know. This would be pretty exciting. Well, I will say, though, this feels like, in terms of like the set structure, this feels like it would maybe be like Monarch 2.0, right? like reskinned Monarch almost.
Yeah.
I think we'll see generics, right? I don't think we'll see plain elemental, right? I think we'll see generics come back. And I think like we're gonna see some. I think we'll have a new class without a talent. I hope we have a new class without a talent.
Yeah. And so it's interesting, right? And I was thinking about this, and I would really like to see a new class without a talent. But I think what ends up happening is there are just too many. You kind of have to stop yourself at I don't know, like obviously they tried with Tales of Aria, but I think what ends up happening is the draft environment kind of dies if like there's, you know what I mean?
No, I definitely understand, and that's kind of
you're
like
just saying go generic heavy. Yeah, you know what? I see what you're saying.
Generic heavy, and I mean I don't know. It's more likely that they wouldn't do that unless they were introducing a talent with the hero class, like they did with Illusionist, right? But I don't know. I feel like it's about time we got something fresh, right? I mean, Draconic's really fresh. But
yeah,
I don't know. I think it'd be cool if we saw maybe not Necromancer. I think it maybe not be the right set for that. But I can't really think of anything else. Like I'm thinking maybe some new brand of ninja.
Yeah, I mean Draconic Ninja would make sense.
Volcorian like partake too much in stealth. I think they like to go in real loud and brazen. You know, they seem like a very confident group of military, you know, military kingdom that doesn't rely on subterfuge.
Very organized.
Could be wrong. So my guesses are going to be 2 wizards, warrior, and I'll just throw necromancer there. But the necromancer is pretty unlikely.
We could get Ice Necromancer as well. We've all seen Game of Thrones.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be pretty cool too.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I feel there's just something about them saying ally so much, you know, where...
Right. Oh, that's one thing I did want to think is another theory is that they could give Wizard the tools to craft allies.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's another, like they could summon elementals or whatever. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, something I talked to somebody about at our armory actually this weekend was, what if they made a wizard action or ability or some kind to create 2 power allies, right? That have go again when they attack, but they have 1 health, and if you attack and if they're destroyed, you deal 1 arcane damage to any target.
Yeah.
So like it's a way for Kano to sort of be like, hey, I can do the prism thing too, you know, or some wizard to kind of like mimic prism and creating like threats that you have to kind of attack, but also, you know, be penalized for attacking.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah, that makes sense.
That's my guess there for the allies.
Huh. That is so interesting.
We do have new mechanics, though, in addition to new cards.
Yeah, we have freeze, and I guess now unfreeze.
Yeah, there's this card in case, which is a majestic wizard, elemental wizard action. So, but it has an ice fusion. So if we ever get another elemental wizard, it could use in case, but just can't ice fuse it, which I guess that wouldn't be very useful. It does nothing otherwise. Oh, it just deals 3 arcane, right? That's just a zap. But it has ice fusion, deal 3 arcane damage to any target, and if it was fused and deals damage, freeze the hero and all equipment they control until the start of your next turn. And Frozen's reminder text is a frozen object cannot be played or activated. So it's like an arrest if you're familiar with Magic terms.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. I guess that makes sense.
Or detain.
Freeze. Yeah, unfreeze. Detain. Yeah, detain makes a lot of sense. And then the other new mechanic is affliction auras.
Oh yeah, that's really cool. They're like curses.
Yeah. Why didn't they say curse? We'll find out.
Well, you know, magic curse aura curse. That's like very on the nose.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not very blatant.
I do like that they made them auras though, because that there's like a lot of design space there with like, you know, if an aura came under your control since the last turn, like stuff like that, or like
Oh yeah.
Prism can like theoretically just attack with a hypothermia. You know?
What? No, that's not true. It can't happen, right?
Yeah, because well, it can't gain go again, but she'd control a hypothermia.
Wait,
you know?
Wait a minute. No. Yeah, but that card doesn't say any aura, right? It says only illusionist auras. Luminaris?
Let me double check.
Yeah, illusionist auras.
Oh, it's only illusionist. What about Iris of Reality?
Yeah, same. I'll do that.
That's not fun.
That'd be so funny. That would be hilarious.
Yeah, right? It'd be fantastic. I was looking forward to that. That worked mentally for me until just now, obviously.
Yeah, hypothermia is interestingly worded, though. There's a really cool, powerful one that's going to definitely make waves called Frost Hex. And it lets Frostbite deal 1 arcane damage to the controller at the end step, which is kind of crazy. But hypothermia, though, is cool because it says attacks you control cannot gain go again. And at the beginning of your end phase, destroy hypothermia. But what it says in the reminder text as well is this does not affect attacks that naturally have go again.
Yeah, which is fascinating, right? Like this card was one of those cards where like when I first read it, I was like, that's insane. But then when I reread it a second time, I was like, oh, this card's nowhere near as good as I thought it was.
No, just good. It's good. Like,
yeah, it's
I
good.
think that's just where it's at. It's good. Right. And it's definitely going to just absolutely dunk on some decks. Like Viscerai with Mavrians, you just be like instant speed respond to Mavrian, play this. Like, oops.
Yeah.
Or,
I mean, it gives Oldhim that gives Oldhim a tool against Prism too, you know?
Yes, 100%. And on top of that, it also, well, I'm saying back to the Runeblade one is like Swarming Gloomveil. In response to Swarming Gloomveil from your arsenal, just play Hypothermia. Yeah. And then now the Gloomveil can't gain go again. It can gain the other abilities, just not go again. But the Prism one is is especially interesting and appealing. The play pattern here with Hypothermia. I like it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they gain go again once you have the pitch. Once you have the pitch there. So you play it on your turn before they get to start their turn, then now they can only attack you once. They can't have this whole like wide turn where you get hit with a herald and like 3 auras and one of them or 2 of them have like 2 power.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Very crazy. This is all very exciting, to be honest.
Yeah, right? And it seems like they're really getting the mega rares out of the way, and I'm going to keep calling them that. So yeah, that's fascinating. I hope Hypothermia doesn't end up being like a fringe sideboard card, because to me it seems like a must-have if you're going to play Iyslander or what's his name, Oldhim. So, yeah,
yes, Iyslander was struggling a little bit to find blue ice cards that are worth running.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now they have all the blue ice cards they could ever want on just 3 days worth of like 6 or 7 spoilers, essentially.
Yeah, a lot of Iyslander lists, you know, I mean, looking at skirmish season results, ran a lot of generic attacks just because there were so few blue ice cards that were worth playing. That's interesting. That's a very good point.
Filling in the gaps to kind of do something other than just play things at instant speed and make your opponents pay 1, right? Now Iyslander could be an incredibly disruptive deck. Yeah,
it's gonna be real fun to play against, huh?
No. But it's definitely going to be really cool to see something new in CC. That's really what I'm excited for. I'm excited for something new. Something fresh, and I'm so glad I was able to hold on. I decided to hold on to my cold foil Kraken Aether Vein.
Nice way to make some money.
Yeah, that shot up a little bit. Still going to hold on to it because we haven't seen it all. So
I'm curious now that the hype has settled a little bit. I'm going to look this up as we speak. You know, because I kind of watched all these things soar.
what if it's a token weapon in the set?
Cold foil art Iyslander, $70.
Hell yeah. Cha-ching.
All right, let's see. Let's look at this Kraken Aether Vein. Cold foil Kraken Aether Vein. $40.
Yeah. Yeah. It dropped a little bit. It went up to like 50, 60. It dropped. That's fine. You know, I'm actually I wonder if they'll make it a token. I don't think they'll do that. Not after Everfest. That's kind of wild if they did that.
Yeah, and the Stormstriders seem to it peaked around 170. Now it's back down to 140. But the Wizard hype is
that's already a
high.
massive spike. It was way below 8. It was like below 80, I think, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. It was. I picked up mine for I want to say 75 2 or 3 weeks ago just to complete my Kano deck. So
nice. Oh, lucky you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ended up picking one up a while ago, but not that not super at all-time lows, but it was a good price at least.
And you know what else is interesting is since in the last 2 hours, gosh, are we financially toxic here with Flesh and Blood? There's been a buyout of Blazing Aethers, which is now an $8 card.
Well, people are, I think, maybe specking on some sort of new Kano. And really was funny because I was actually telling Carlos, our resident Kano master, I was like, dude, you should probably try to invest in some alpha foil Blazing Aethers, even though they were probably like $1 bajillion for 3 of them. Now I can't imagine what it's going to cost. Because do you know about the flavor text on that card?
I don't. What's going on with it?
Did you know that all copies of Blazing Aether do not have flavor text except for the alpha foil, first edition foil?
Really?
Yes.
What?
Look up on FabDB for the flavor text.
Edition foil. Let's see. Oh my God. Yes, it does. Is it 2 metal? No, it just says, oh, you thought you were going to win, which is actually really funny if you lose this Kano. I see that it works both ways, and maybe they removed it because it's ironically hilarious.
No, I love it, dude. It's so good, especially when your opponent is like thinking they're in declare and they've got the win, and then Kano goes, okay, math checks out. Pitch, you're like, oh no.
Yeah, right.
Oh, you thought you were gonna win with your pummel on the stack.
Oh, the salt is so real.
Yeah, I've done a couple.
I've lost to Wizard too many times, and that's why we need to stop giving things to Wizards. They can just conjure them.
They needed it. They needed some help.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is it's exciting. I'm really, really excited for to see Kano come through, and some of the Wizard stuff that we've been seeing.
Yeah, right. I wonder if there's no way Lesson in Lava Spike 2, right? It was like $1 card. Let's see. Are we up to $2 or $3? Nope, we're still $1 card. Okay, there's too many of them. It's super rare, which if you're keeping track at home is one less than mega rare.
Just one less.
It's just one less. So yeah, that's fascinating. Ooh. So, you know what's interesting? We talk about all this Iyslander hype and how Iyslander is getting all this cool stuff and how like Iyslander is really cool and everyone loves Iyslander now and they forgot about like all their old friends and they just hang out with Iyslander.
Yeah.
Have you taken a look at the Living Legend boards at the conclusion of skirmish season? I'm not talking about the race everyone's talking about. I'm not talking about Prism versus Starvo. I'm talking about Living Legend for young heroes.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty interesting. I was not expecting Iyslander to have picked up so many points. Here, you just want me to give you a list of
I'm looking at it now
heroes.
Myself.
Dash, Prism, Lexi, Bolton, Levia, Benji, oddly enough, Katsu, Azalea, Data Doll, and then Genus and Cavdane, obviously, Kaio, Diana, and Balda. Well, those are all Azalea didn't pick up points, but they all have less than Iyslander. My goodness.
Well, Iyslander actually won a couple skirmishes I saw actually Rob Seigel played Iyslander to victory at a skirmish gauntlet.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, she has 38 living legend points. But you know what else? Ira lost a crown.
Yes, Ira did lose a crown.
Viserai is now the boogeyman of Blitz because he's got +2 points. He's at 295 living legend points.
Viserai is because keep in mind, for young heroes, you only need 500 to be retired.
It's halfway. He's more than halfway.
Yeah, he's 295. He needs 205 more points. Which, my goodness, we'll see what happens with the fall skirmish season. You know,
mm-hmm. It's crazy. You know, it's interesting. I'm looking at the living legend points, and I'm like, wow, like Iyslander actually is doing quite better than all of these older heroes that actually do have some blitz points and some blitz viability, I think. And it's interesting that she's picked up so much in so little time with so few tools. I think that it kind of speaks to her power, right, when piloted correctly, right, and in the correct meta. But now imagine with all the new cards we'll be getting with her, what it's going to look like.
And it's interesting too, right? Because before Everfest release, this was an Ira, Dory, Kano format, in my opinion. And now it seems to be wide open at the moment.
100%.
So that is fascinating. All right,
and Oldhim season is also really up there too. He's at 276 living legend points in Blitz.
He is, which is good because I think if Blitz needs one thing, it needs to slow down a little.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. Blitz is it's just every single game feels like it. Like every deck's going at top speed. You know, you're rewarding the decks that can hit the hardest and do the most damage as fast as possible. And I mean, obviously that is the intention of Blitz, I guess, but it'd be nice to see a more diverse metagame where it's not all aggro, and that's why I kind of like to see Oldhim up there.
100%. Yeah, you know, Blitz has been interesting, at least. I never really gave it too much of a shot, but playing it has been quite a bit of fun. You know, even though we normally do CC armories, you know, that's what the majority of our play groups and stuff like to go with.
Yeah. I mean, I like CC. It's like chess, you know. It's to make one mistake, pay for it for 35 minutes against Viserai, like I did against you this week, where I just decided to overblock early for no reason, and I just never got my momentum back.
That was a really intense game, and actually that was one of my first Prism wins against Prism in a while. And I think I'm starting to get a hang of my matchups a little better, and understanding them a little better with Viserai. Because I don't know, I just never got enough Prism reps. I got all the Guardian reps anyone would ever want in the world because I have to play against Jonathan Owens all the time.
Haven't we all gotten enough Guardian reps?
But yeah, you know, and I also played him at the Armory as well. He was on Oldhim, and I was on Vis. Usually slated a bit closer to Vis. I rolled high, so I was feeling good, but little did I know, as good of a start as I had, the game started to go more towards his way slowly. And I did end up building quite a bit of rune chance up to 22. And I was at 7 life, and I decided this was the moment I needed to go off. I had the Sonata. I had a couple cards. And I blocked my Skeleton, went off, popped my thing, and actually got a pretty good spread of attacks. But at the end of it, he was around, I think, 10 life, if I remember correctly, at the end of my turn.
Oh, wow.
And then we spent the rest of the game essentially just needling each other. And I can't remember. Geez, what was it? I'm trying to remember exactly how it went down. Like, oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm remembering our second game we played. Our first game, he won because it was on a turn that I had to block or discard a card. And I had 2 cards in my hand. And I had a blue and I had a red in my hand. The red was a Swarming Gloomveil, and the blue was a Meet and Greet. And I knew in my deck I had 2 of each of those cards left. And I was like, okay, so I can at this point block with my blue Meet and Greet, and then I'll still have a Swarming, and then hopefully hit 2 more Swarmings when I Sonata, right? Because the Sonata was ready to go. Not ready to go, but I had all my rune chants set up. I just needed to draw the Sonata. So I block with my blue Meet and Greet, right? And I go and start my turn. And then as I go to Arsenal on my turn, I realize, I should have blocked with a different card, but only after saying end turn, and he goes Crown. And I realize, oh no, I have a red in my hand. So he actually managed to get he managed to actually get me on the exposed to the elements. I could have pitched to prevent it.
Ooh.
And it was so rough. I was like, okay, good game. I didn't want to play. It was like over. It really was over. I was just like not going to be able to get caught. I wasn't going to be able to finish it off, I was running out of gas, and at no Sonata turn, no win,
Yeah.
But we played another match after that just to run it out, and we actually went off, and the game went down to the wire, 1 life, and he was able to deck me with my last 4 cards in my hand, blocking for 7, and he had an 8 attack coming at me.
Damn, nothing feels worse than the Guardian exhaustion win or loss, rather. You know what I mean? It's like, I couldn't get there.
It was close.
Oh wow, yeah, that was I don't know. So I played Prism this week at Armory. It's my only complete CC deck. I have a bunch of others in various states of completion, and I don't know. I'm thinking about retiring Prism for a little while because it's the only deck I've ever played, and I just need to shift gears for a little bit. Whether that's, I don't know. I have Rhinar, Dash, Viserai, and Bolton all almost complete. So who knows what I'll play this week? But I'm looking forward to like playing with a different hero and getting some kind of perspective. Because I've only ever played one deck. It'd be nice to
give something else a shot. What do you think about playing?
I don't know. I feel like I want to play something rogue. I don't know if I necessarily want to play a tier 1 deck, so I probably won't do Viserai. And I don't know. Rhinar kind of seems fun right now.
Rhinar is very fun. I do play
Rhinar has a lot of good matchups at the moment in the metagame too. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a valuable learning to be on the playing side of a Rhinar deck.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Especially as Prism, because that's a bad matchup. So if you want to get your game plan a little better, learning the ins and outs of Brute can be very beneficial.
Well, especially Brute, and one of the reasons I like Brute right now is you have a good matchup against the Guardians. You have a good matchup against Prism. I believe Viserai is a bad matchup, right?
Terrible matchup against Viserai.
Yeah, I was going to say. And obviously that's the weak spot for the deck. But I don't know. At the moment, it just seems fun to play. There's something about Rhinar that's super fun. And I decided, obviously James White has said that Rhinar is his favorite deck. So it just makes sense to me to build the creator of the game's favorite deck, because obviously that class is going to get some love. # Draconic Brute when.
Jeez, that'd be interesting. Draconic Brute.
Yeah, right? Just like a fire monster. Everyone loves fire monsters. That's a thing.
What if that's how they introduce a dragon into the game? Just be like Draconic Brute. Brute's just a catch-all word for like
right.
monsters or something. I don't know. Like Revia orcs.
Yeah, right. Oh man. Yeah, that'll be sweet. I'm about it.
Yeah, but in terms of just how everything's been performing lately, your girl Prism actually did win a Battle Hardened.
I saw that. It was the Madrid Battle Hardened, right?
Yes. I do believe so, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe it was a Prism Mirror in the finals, wasn't it?
I wasn't watching. I woke up and I saw the news.
Yeah, I wasn't watching either. The European ones are weird. I did watch. So I believe that Battle Hardened win prevents Starvo from hitting Living Legend before the Pro Tour. However, I do think what's very interesting is that what is it? Starvo ends up winning the calling this week, and I did watch a little bit of the calling Taiwan, and unfortunately, I think this event's only going to be remembered for the finals. But
yeah, it's Starvo did win the final, but not at what cost, but
well, I mean, at what cost? Yes,
but yes. Sadly, a player in finals on turn 1 decided that it was worth cheating to try and gain an advantage on camera in 1080p.
On camera,
live
1080p, Twitch chat. Yeah, people are really good at seeing sleight of hand, especially when they can record it and look it over again. And obviously, you should definitely always stay a little vigilant for your opponent's sleight of hand. But my God, what a crappy way for a calling to end. And
it's not exactly the climatic, battle everyone wanted it to be.
Oh, yeah. I will say though, this top 8, I don't think a single Prism deck made it. I believe it was 3 Starvos, 2 Viserais, a Chain, and I don't know the other 2 decks.
The player was playing Shane.
Yeah,
it was just got an Oaken Olded.
Yes. And that player had just beat Starvo in the match before, which is interesting.
But he didn't get turn 1 Oaken Olded. But it's obviously no excuse. I'm just saying what had happened, recalling the events. And he had blocked with 1 card, allowed it to hit, and he was presenting a shuffled hand to the Starvo player. For anyone who doesn't know what happened, right? We both watched it, so we know. He presented a shuffled hand, presumably because he kind of shuffled it around a bit, to the Starvo player to choose 2 cards. He picked 2 from the left, and then the player proceeded to actually swap cards real quick with his fingers. Swap cards between the 2, actually just with both hands very blatantly. Swap cards from the far left one or the far right one with one of the left ones, and then looked at the hand again to make sure he got it right, and then put it to the bottom.
Yeah. Which I don't know if I would have caught that in person. Obviously, you know what I mean? It was very fast.
Correct. It looked like somebody just checking his hand to see what cards he got chosen to put to the bottom.
Yeah, that was not ideal, and it's awkward, right? Because I know. Okay, here I actually have the breakdown of the top 8, but I mean, at the end of the day, Luo Xingjun is the champion of the calling Taiwan.
Yes,
and
well deserved.
And he went through a gauntlet. But here we go. So we talk about the Starvo meta at our local. Not a lot of people show up with Starvo at our local armories.
Except some
Matt,
villains.
without looking it up, would you like to take a guess at how many Starvos were in the top 8?
Of which event? Calling Taiwan?
Of calling Taiwan.
I think you may have said it earlier. 4?
Oh, well, so I was wrong. It's 6.
Oh dear.
There were 6 Starvos, 1 Chain, 1 Viserai.
Wow, Prism didn't make it at all.
Oh, Prism did not make it at all.
Shane,
6
though.
Starvos.
Shane, though.
Well, that Chain deck, we know. Actually, it's interesting because the path that Chain player took was they played Starvo 3 times in the top 8.
Wow.
So obviously, in the end, dishonesty cost him the game and likely his ability to play competitively for some length of time. But one thing I did get to watch, though, in this coverage was in the first round, the match that they showed, it was Starvo versus Viserai.
Yeah.
And that was actually a very entertaining game to watch. I was not expecting it to be as back and forth as it is.
So what was can you describe to me, just maybe briefly, what did that look like to you? Like, what was the Viserai doing?
So basically, I don't know. The way this match tends to go, right, is Starvo lands the big hits early, while Viserai just tries to not play a lot of attack actions and builds up rune chance, and send a bunch of them at once, or to like go wide on a couple turns. And I got to watch this game, I want to say at some point, let's see, so I'm not just entirely, at some point this game was 32-10. And the very final turn, I believe Bravo wins 1-1. So it's interesting because I see a lot of those matches go that way and they become very entertaining because of it.
Those are the most entertaining matches. And that's what makes this game, like in general, just so like exciting to play, is that you have these matchups where like literally players will go toe to toe and blow for blow. You know, I mean, people we've gone over it thousands of times over. You know, like it's really close. You know, it's like a slog match. You know, it's people defending, blocking with the last of their resources and getting in chip damage, and you know, playing to their outs correctly. It's all about, it's a mind game, you know, it's all about stamina and being able to maintain a clear focused mind while you play and making the correct decisions, because one single minor mistake could cost you the entire game, just like I did earlier, just like I did when I was talking about blocking or pitching the wrong card. You just never know, right?
Yeah,
but playing optimally, you know, the correct choices are always to do something to avoid like all of your outs, right? To be prepared for your outs. And I just didn't have that in my mind. In my mind, I was like, what's most likely going to have me deal the most damage to win, instead of what can I do in my hand to avoid losing right now?
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
Right? Yeah. I was thinking I was going to win instead of thinking, how do I stop myself from losing? And that's why I made that mistake.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it is fascinating. And I think that's why this game rewards repetition so much. Because, and this game does such a good job of the moment you lose and the decision you made sticks with you for so long that I feel like, unlike a lot of other TCGs I've played, there's something about this where losing almost always makes you a better player. 100%. It's like you're so focused on the game. The game takes an hour. Like, it sucks to lose. And I don't know, the lesson sticks with you and what you fell for sticks with you. And it's just, I don't know, I quite enjoy it. So right on.
Cool. So what's another thing that we could discuss is that the May Armory kit looks really good.
Oh yeah. It's random.
Yeah, so it's like all prior Armory kits randomly distributed. And I think actually one of the playmats will be a recent one. Maybe
it seems that way.
And then an old one is thrown into the mix, and then some random promos as well.
Ooh. So I actually haven't seen any of them. I know they came in for the local stores, but the store owners like to be secretive.
Yeah.
They'll have to wait for the reveal. So I'm excited. There's certain, like, I don't know, I really want a Visiertronic playmat. I think that's like one of the sickest pieces of art they've ever done.
It's very cool. I would love one.
Absolutely.
I would love to become the Arknight one even better.
Did they did a playmat for Become the Arknight?
Oh yeah, it's so cool. It's incredibly cool. The art like up close in HD. Oh my god, it's awesome.
Oh wow, yeah, that is super cool. Yeah. Or this, it's the isn't it it's the other chain specialization, right?
No, Become the Arknight's the Viserai specialization.
It's not oh really? Because I know they did one for Arknight Ascendancy too, right?
Yeah, there's each hero had a majestic and a super specialization from both WTR and Arcane Rising.
Wow.
The
Okay, that's
super
interesting.
Specializations are all tutors.
Because I found it and I had to Google down, I Googled it and I had to scroll down really far to find somebody with it. So my guess, there's not a lot of these in circulation apparently.
No, sometimes they sell and they kind of go for 200 plus.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's
That's
sucks.
a spicy mouse pad.
Yeah. But yeah, that's going to be exciting, man. I'm really excited to be playing in May in my armories.
Yeah, I am too. Get some old stuff, some promos. I don't know if anybody got a cold foil Dawn Blade, but I've always wanted one.
Ooh.
Dory is always secretly my favorite hero. So one of these days.
Dory, she's the OG Bay.
Exactly. Replace with Prism for a little bit, but we'll be back, Dory. We promise.
I played again. I played nearby next to a guy at the Calling in Nats in Orlando. He actually has a YouTube channel. I think pretty well known. It's the Fabled Hunters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I played next to that guy, and he interviewed his opponent. But he had like an all graded Dory deck with like all his equipment, and his Dory was like cold foil and graded. He had it on the table
man.
on slabs.
It's the only way to play, apparently.
Slabs, graded slabs, 10s and 9s.
Exactly. That's got to be a pain to shuffle.
Not the deck.
All the equipment.
Yeah. Oh dear.
I was hoping for the deck too.
No way, awesome. Dude.
Sometimes my imagination just takes me away.
One of these days, someone will try.
Oh, right on. So, let's see. Matt, before we end, you have to make one call.
All right.
What class is the Draconic hero going to be?
Warrior?
100%?
I'm all in on Warrior. All in. But I am somewhat skeptical. I'm like 90% sure because they did do Warrior for this style of set already once.
Yeah, it was Bolton.
Right. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm like so confident I'll go all in, but I am going to go all in because I want Daru. If they print Daru, I will be a Warrior main. I want to swing an axe. Really big. Very big axe.
All right. Here's my call on the Warrior situation. I think they're going to print Daru, right? But I like how this game leans into traditional RPG tropes without like hitting them too far on the nose. I think we're getting Daru, Draconic Brute, and his special ability is he can use two-handed weapons.
Oh dear.
So they'll print a two-handed warrior axe or like a two-handed brute weapon, but he can use two of them.
Oh no.
I don't know.
But but it's I just want something that can use Spill Blood other than Voltend.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, because he is on Spill Blood.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking Warrior. But I wouldn't be mad either because Draconic. Thaw is a 6 power card. Brutes do love their 6 powers.
I think what we're gonna see is I think LSS is very, very weary of dead card pools. I think that would really suck. Like if I think if Prism wins 1 or 2 more events and then the Pro Tour, Prism actually gets Living Legended. And having a dead illusionist card pool, I don't think would be very good for the game. So I think we'll either see Ice Illusionist or Draconic Illusionist in this set.
Perhaps. Just one last theory. Crazy theory. But since Shiana is mentioned in the set,
what if Shiana's actually an illusionist?
An illusionist Shiana.
So I was actually thinking about this earlier, and I think you're dead on. I think what happened is they took the shapeshifter design space, and it was too broken, and they ended up using illusionist.
I don't know if they necessarily want to regret the shapeshifter design space. I think maybe she can still be that, but almost kind of like a amorphous character that can kind of take multiple shapes, and maybe we'll see her again as something else. But
and she can wield two-handed axes.
Yeah, that'd be really dope.
Taylor. I think you're right, though. I think it's very, I think the current shapeshifter design space is great. I think you're 100% right on that. I think what LSS has ran into is they have a very difficult time expanding that design space without it just immediately blowing up in their faces and testing.
Yeah. I think an illusionist is possible. It just doesn't seem to fit like the story that they're trying to go for. And the imagery I've been seeing seems to show like a very like war base. It's kind of like set up the name Uprising. Right, you can see images of war, like conflict. Like they talk about the Solana War with the monastery. You have fire, you have ice. This is a very like political, like kingdoms at war with each other kind of set. And I don't really know how an illusionist fits into that, but I can see how like somebody caught in between the conflict, Iyslander, is stuck in between two. There are going to be two heroes in the set that represent two sides of the conflict, and then there's going to be a fourth hero who is going to be, I guess, maybe like, the Blackbird, like the out of place kind of character, other than Iyslander, right? Or maybe the mediary, right? Somebody who sits on the line between the two, which is why I was thinking maybe we get Draconic and Ice.
Yeah.
Right?
Some kind of Steam hero.
Yeah.
Mechanologist.
Mechanologist is the talent, not a class. I don't know.
True, but it's Steam.
There's a theory.
Ice Draconic, Mechanologist, everything's Steam based. I don't know. Obviously, I'm also excited for this set to have new Blitz decks. I don't know. And what's even more exciting is there's a whole nother round of spoilers, and like maybe this entire episode will have just been us completely wrong.
Well, I mean, we can only wait for so long, right?
Exactly.
So next week we're definitely going to talk about our thoughts on the new Kano Draconic Ice Wizard and how mad I am that Drolnu was a ninja, not a warrior or a brute. Daru is not a
ninjas can't wear that much armor.
Too much armor. And then they just like, I don't know. I was trying to think of something else goofy to say, but
no, you're 100% right. Okay. So real quick though, I do, because you mentioned it. All right. I am looking real quick at the, okay, check this out. So I just brought up the art from the bottom of the Morlock Hill article. Yeah. And there's a warrior that is wearing one of those head crest things in the Steam. There's Prism, there's Iyslander, and there's Shiana, all in the Steam.
In Morlock?
At the very bottom where it says to be continued. So maybe, I mean, theoretically, that's Iyslander. I'm really going on a hope and a prayer here, but I think this is it. I think that's what we get.
Yeah. I see Prism there.
Yeah, I mean, obvious Prism, obvious Shiana. The Iyslander's a maybe, because, you know, that could be anybody. I think it's Iyslander. That would make the most sense to me.
Well, yeah, because you get the mask, you remember?
Yeah. And then, you know, you get our boy Johnny Two Axes.
Oh, man. Though that is a very pointy weapon he has.
I think that's just the other side of the axe.
Oh, the long side? Gotcha.
I don't know. It's definitely something pointy. Maybe he's getting axes. Axes.
Axes. All in on axes. All right.
He's so good at axing. That's why there's no trees in Volcor.
You don't even have to axe.
We haven't seen a single tree. It's because he's so good at it. Just kill them all.
Don't axe where the trees are.
Exactly. All right. Well, I think that about does it for this week. Gosh, I can't wait to see more of the set. I'm really excited about it. Fire Knight's a really cool theme. Matt, do you have any parting words?
All in on axes. Ice and fire. Game of Thrones. Yes.
Yes. Game of Thrones, all in. Ice and fire. Yes. I'm 100% there.
Axes. Don't forget axes.
Axes. We just keep on chopping. I don't know. We'll see y'all next week. Thanks for listening.
Take care.